Hey, welcome to the big program. We are in the middle of basketball season when you will see this, so we're very excited at Proview Networks. So we have a basketball guest on the program this week. If you watch the Cameron Brown podcast, you know that I foolishly left her off my list of girls to watch, and boy, did I hear about it. So now I'm here to repent and tell my audience how dumb that was, and welcome in probably the best defensive player in the state, Jerzie Jones. Jerzie, welcome to the program.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Season started last night. You guys put it on our beloved Mustangs, right? So are
Yeah.
you excited to get started?
Yes, I think it was a good first game for us just to get our nerves out, and we worked on a lot of stuff. We ran some sets, and we got like a good feel of what's going to come this season.
Did you think that would ever come, that moment? Did you honestly think that the season was coming, you'd play with the Bears this year?
I always had a little bit of hope that we were going to have a season. I
Right.
didn't think they would take it away from us.
What did Coach do to kind of keep you guys engaged through that lengthy? There was a long part. Even before you guys got back into pods, there was a long time before that. What did he do to keep your spirits up, I guess?
He always met on Google Meets during basketball class, and we had to work out every day and like show ourselves on the camera, doing push-ups. We had to run. We had to do ball handling, and he just kept like motivating us by watching film, and like we watched like our favorite games and stuff just to like remind us that.
All right, so I'm going to go tangent a little bit here since you guys crushed West Mesa. I want to talk blowouts for a second. There was also a game last night that was like 78-4, right? And so I always hear adults give their opinion about stuff like that, right? Like, oh, coach shouldn't run up, this, that, and the other. But what would that be like on the court? I mean, if you're the team, let's put you in both shoes. First of all, if you were the team that's crushing the other team and you guys are just killing somebody, I mean, what's that like?
I mean, when you're killing someone, it's not even fun at that point. Like, everyone should get to play, and I feel like you should like work on things, and it should be more of like a learning experience rather than like just putting them on them, like really trying to score. But if it was the other way around, I'd be really upset, and I would probably keep trying harder. Like, I would do anything to like keep going just to not make the loss that much.
But is there part of you when you're on the winning side of that, you're thinking in your mind like, man, like these girls go to practice like I do, they put in the same time that I do, but I mean, does that ever enter your head, or you're just in there doing your thing?
Yeah, sometimes it does, but I really just think about my team and like this is gonna look good for us. Like we do need to keep going. So
yeah, I always wondered the player's perspective on something like that because you always hear the adults chirp about it, but I've never really heard a player perspective. All right, so let's go back to what we were talking about, which was kind of COVID, how COVID has affected the year. I mean, how has it affected you?
It honestly helped me, I think, just because I was able to train every day, and my brother has a court outside of his house, and it's like a full court, so we were able to get a lot of work in with my family, and with like the gyms being closed and stuff, it didn't really hurt me as much. I do like inside courts better, but I got a lot of training. I was working on my handles a lot, and I think it made me a little bit more disciplined and like a little more motivated to work since there was really nothing else to do.
So did that maybe help people's, it sounds like you're saying it helped people's individual development. If you wanted to develop individual skills, the COVID really didn't affect you as much. But what about the team chemistry side, things like that?
Our team was already pretty close, so I don't think it hurt our team as well, but we were trying to do anything we could. We would meet at parks and stuff, just do anything within the COVID guidelines that we could. But I played club with some of the girls anyway, so I was still getting to see them, and we were doing like as much stuff as we could just to be together.
Now, did you did you have any thoughts before last night's game? Like, man, this is going to be sloppy. This is going to be difficult. I mean, was it just a regular game one, or was it different because it was the first game after the pandemic? Well, not after, but the first game after all these restrictions.
It was definitely different because we walked in, the gym was completely silent. Nobody was in there. The benches were all staggered and stuff, and we were like, dang, this is weird. Like, we were not comfortable. Our fans bring a lot of energy for us. Our parents are really supportive, so not having them there was kind of hard, but we knew that we start off a little slow sometimes, so we knew we had to really get energy, and our bench did a really good job of like cheering us on, and like when we came out, we were all being real supportive of each other.
How difficult was it playing with the mask on? I mean, I don't even like broadcasting with it on, so I can only imagine how difficult it is playing with that.
It was pretty hard. Like, they get sweaty immediately, so I was switching my mask out pretty often, but for like running up and down the court, it wasn't bothering me that much.
Were the officials pretty strict? Like, was there a lot of, hey, pull that up, or?
Yeah, I definitely got told to pull mine up a couple times.
Right. So, what are team goals and what are individual goals in a shortened, weird season like this?
Our goal is always to win every game, and this year we have a really good defensive team, so we want to focus on like keeping teams under a certain limit depending on who we're playing. And individual goals we want to all work on. We all agreed that we think we should all be in double digits and like passing the ball, sharing, and no one wants to be selfish on the team, so we want to really just work on that.
So do any of those things change, or is that kind of the kind of goals you would set going into a normal year? Has anything changed because it's a short year and you're playing the district only?
Now we know we just can't lose a game. Like every game counts. It's really important. So we're playing with like a big chip on our shoulders this year.
And speaking of that district, you know, obviously you have 8 teams qualify for state, so the 6 district winners and only 2 at large. That is the best team, or that is the best district in the state when it comes to girls basketball. Yeah. So there's a good chance the team that misses the tournament out of that district is going to be a really good basketball team. Just talk about how important that is in that district.
Our district definitely is hard, but it's going to prepare us. So playing tough opponents twice, that's only going to prepare us for the state tournament. But if we win it, then it shows that we belong and we deserve it. But I think that it's just really going to help us in the long run.
All right, we're going to do a thing here. We'll do our first commercial. When we get back with Jerzie, we want to take you way back, talk about your athletic upbringing and your very, very athletic family. We'll be right back with Jerzie Jones.
High school sports are back. You can watch every Proview Network broadcast online on the NFHS network. Every moment from every game from every sport, including all NMAA state championship games. Get your monthly pass now. Just go to ProviewNetworks.com, click on the NFHS logo, and sign up today. Watch New Mexico's best.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened? Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters, it's like it never happened.
Car Crafters is a proud supporter of Proview Networks.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walk up to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number 1. Cover it with green stuff, 1 scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of Proview Networks.
Don't sacrifice quality of flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of Proview Sports Network.
Rudy's is a proud supporter of Proview Networks.
Back with La Cueva's Jerzie Jones. And Jerzie, I want to talk about your athletic family and probably your whole athletic background. But it has to start there, right? Because, I mean, with your family, was there ever a time when you were little where you were not around athletics?
No. Since day one, I was at my brother's football practices, his games. I was watching my sister do cheerleading. Like, no matter what, we were always at sports every single day.
I can attest to that because I've never seen a family leave their house as much for athletic events. As long as I've been your neighbor, I've seen your parents just every day, twice, 3 times, taking you to practice, taking Javian to practice. I mean, the miles you guys have put on cars is probably amazing. But let's go all the way back. Pops was a pretty good baseball player, right? So let's start there.
Yes, every day I'll go somewhere and someone comes up and tells me, oh my gosh, your dad is so good at baseball, he's so good. And of course I didn't get to see him, so I'm just like, yeah, and he talks about it a lot, so we get to hear about it pretty often.
So the story that I still hear a lot, and I've got it confirmed because I had my doubts, right? You know, when people get older, like a mile turns into 2, that kind of stuff. So your dad's telling me this story that he's facing a friend of mine, Coach Kuhn, pitching, and he hits a home run off the gym at Cibola. So you can imagine where the gym is at Cibola, how far back the baseball field is.
Yeah.
So I asked Coach Kuhn about it, and he was like, yeah, I don't think that's landed yet. Like he confirmed it. And so I've heard those stories, the apartments at Del Norte, home runs into there. Mm-hmm. So I've heard all that. So I guess it was really true, even though there's no film to prove it.
Yeah. He gives me a lot of advice in every area, but I take it from him just because he was a good athlete himself.
Okay, so what else? I mean, there's brothers, sisters. Who else? Where else? Where else in the family? It's everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah, it's literally everywhere.
So
Everyone
just
is
pick a next
sports.
and start there.
Well, my brother Tyrell played football in college at Maine, and he did pretty good. He ended up getting hurt, but he was really good. My brother Javon was an all-around athlete. He did track, football, basketball. I think he played baseball for a little bit, and he was good at everything. Football was really good for him, and he ended up going on to the Lobos. And he did pretty good over there. Let's
stop there for a minute. That would upset me as a sibling, to have little Mr. Perfect in my house, playing all these sports, his little 4.4 GPA.
Yeah.
So what was that like growing up, having little Mr. Perfect in the house?
I always wanted to be like Javon. They were like, you have to get good grades like Javon. You want to be like this. So still till this day, I want to be like him, and he's a good person to look up to.
So you always had that role model there.
Yeah.
Do you seek him out for advice to this day, or?
Yeah, whenever I do something good, the first person I want to show is him, and I get all excited to go show him a little highlight or something, and he gives me good advice. He always hypes me up.
Okay, who else?
My sister, she did cheerleading. I did cheerleading for a little bit, actually, and she helps me. She's very confident. She cheers me on a lot, and she motivates me. And then my little brother, he plays basketball, and he's really good. We play one-on-one, we compete, and he gives me a run for my money sometimes.
And I always tease your dad, if he had sent all you guys to Del Norte, maybe we'd still be good at stuff at Del Norte. But I guess you're the La Cueva family now.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about, was there ever a phase or a time in your life where you were like, no, I'm not going to do this athletics thing. Everyone is doing this. I want to do something else, or no, I'm not about that. Did that ever happen, or not really?
No, we're all so competitive, so every single day was just I want to be better than this one, I want to be better than Terrell, I want to be better than Javon. So we all just compete. Even little game nights, we get competitive, so we all just want to do better.
So take us inside a competitive game night. What's that like? I've never heard any yelling or anything, so it can't be that bad.
It's because they're not at our house.
Oh, okay, all right, okay. Take us into that.
They get pretty heated. If one person cheats for 1 second, they will get called out. And if you lose by 1 point, oh my gosh, you'll hear about it for the next week. The teams aren't fair. They always want to do boys against girls, and the girls win every single time. But if we do more of a mind game, the boys get really mad because they can't compete with us.
So you guys usually dominate these family
Exactly.
games. What's the go-to on the holidays? Is it basketball? Is it football? What do you guys do on the holidays?
We do basketball sometimes, but we're more of Family Feud. We do that one recently, and we do spoons. That one gets pretty competitive. But we did a family kickball game, and that was crazy. It got a little bit too heated.
A little crazy?
Yeah.
Did you guys have to call it early?
We ended up finishing it out, but I did not think we were going to make it because they were diving and yelling, and they were kicking it purposely at each other, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's too much.
So, have you, since you're younger than your brothers, Tyrell and Javon, have you been able to use them to help you in basketball and in training, individual development? Talk about that.
100%. Tyrell and his wife, actually, they did trainings in the summer with me and Javian, and I needed to work on ball handling personally, so they had a lot of drills to help me. They had little cones to throw at me, anything they could. And then Javon would come over, and we would do 2-on-2, me and Javian versus him and Javon, which they're clearly unfair, but they did not take it easy on us. They would come up on me, guard me. They would throw me. They did not care. They were really aggressive, and I honestly think it helped me because if Javon's guarding me and I can get past him, then I could get past a girl that's way younger.
When do you think the switch went off for you where you saw, like, okay, basketball is more than just some fun I have with my friends at La Cueva here, and now, like, this could be the way to pay my way through college, et cetera, et cetera. When do you think that switch went off?
Well, I started playing basketball a lot later than most people, and I was getting better and better, like, each year. So I realized if I put in work every day and, like, work harder, I could be a lot better because I'm starting to compete with some of the girls, and I'm only been playing for, like, 3 years. So if I keep working, I knew that I could get better, like, in a short amount of time.
And so what goes into the work you're putting in right now? Take us through that. What kind of work are you putting in away from La Cueva, away from practice, the individual work? What are you putting in?
I need to work on my shot, so I go and shoot a lot. We have a hoop in the front, a hoop in the back. I'll go out there sometimes. But I really like to go to sports and wellness and, like, shoot with my little brother. We'll take turns rebounding for each other. We try to do ball handling where, like, he'll push me back and I push him back. And then we definitely always play one-on-one, and I tell him he can foul me because he does it anyway, so he might as well.
It turns out I don't need an alarm clock anymore at my house because, so you go to early morning training, right? And the reason I know that is because my driveway alarm goes off every morning about 5 a.m. or 5:30 a.m. So you're up really early to train. Talk about that.
Well, sometimes during the week there's trainings Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with Jamal. And Riley, Tiona, Eva, some of us will go and we get a good workout in before school. It's just hard to wake up that early, but it's a good workout, so we'll go pretty often.
And have you always put in that kind of work, or is that something that just, like, now you're serious, now you're like, oh, it's getting time, it's recruiting time?
Yeah.
Like, when did all those pieces come into place?
After freshman year, when I didn't get a lot of minutes, I wanted to, like, work hard, make sure I was a starter. Each year I have a new goal to be on the team. It was to be a starter last year. This year is to be a good role player, like, provide for my team, help in every way I can. So I realized that I need to go and put work in on my own, and it's not just going to come from our practices at school.
We'll take another time out here, and then we'll get into that freshman year and talk about the La Cueva years when we get back with Jerzie Jones.
Calling all football players, are you looking to develop your skills this season? It's never too late or too early to put in the work. Coach Carl Barrere and the Air Barrere program at 8 Grady's Performance Center provide comprehensive position training for aspiring football players at all levels. Whether you're looking to increase your speed, gain strength, or hone your skill, we train all positions with a team of experienced coaches who know what it takes to succeed at all levels from Yaffle to college. Check us out at 8gradys.com to learn more and sign up for training today.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green.
And keep the community green as well.
Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment.
You trash it,
we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
A rogue virus, no jobs, sky-high tuition debt. Life is trying to put our generation on the sidelines. But we refuse to just sit back and watch it pass us by. Instead, watch us fly ahead. Watch us overcome anything. Watch us rise. Watch us change our world. Watch us become the next greatest generation.
Here at Legacy, we are here to disciple people by helping them connect with God, grow in relationships, and live generously.
TurboThreads is a proud sponsor of Proview Networks.
Almost 30 years of experience means fast service, great prices, and a wide selection of apparel from t-shirts to performance sport shirts, even jackets and hats. They feature low minimums and no setup charges on most orders. TurboThreads is located at 1503 Golf Course Road in Rio Rancho, or find them on Facebook, online at turbothreads.com, or call 999-1234 for TurboThreads.
Clark's Pet Emporium, your pet's second best friend. Visit clarkspet.com.
We're back with Jerzie Jones. Let's talk about your freshman year. You make varsity right away. What were your thoughts as soon as you made varsity as a freshman? That's obviously pretty special.
Mm-hmm. It was a relief. I was really nervous. I didn't want to be the only one to not make it. There was 4 freshmen, Riley, Tiona, Nina. We all ended up making it. And the day I made it, I was like, okay, now I have to work to get playing time because nothing was going to be handed to me. So I had to work hard in practice. Coach Perea likes girls that hustle and play defense, and I was like, that's something I can do. So every practice, I was diving on the ball. I was guarding Kaya every practice. She was the best player by far, so I wanted to guard her, show that I can go in and guard the other team's best player too.
So you have these 4 fabulous freshmen. You mix them in with Kaya Ingram, and so immediately you guys have a pretty good team that has pretty high expectations. What were those expectations as a freshman?
As a freshman, we knew that we weren't all going to get equal playing time. We're all going to get minutes, but Rachel and Deja were also there, and they were really good leaders to us. And they told us just to have a good attitude, to work hard, and we lost in the Metro Championship to West Mesa, and we ended up losing the first round of state. But we worked hard every game. We came out in some close games, but we just didn't have a lot of chemistry since it was our first year. We didn't do as well on a court, I think.
What was the biggest adjustment getting those minutes as a freshman? What was, a lot of people say speed of the game, a lot of people say size. What was the biggest adjustment to you coming from middle school and club to now playing varsity as a freshman?
I was definitely one of the smallest girls on the court when I went out there, and the pace was real fast, so I had to get used to it. But I'm pretty quick, so I liked it. I liked running back and forth. I liked diving on the floor, and I just brought a lot of aggression to the game. That was my main role.
Do you remember now as a freshman, do you remember someone that you guys played where you were just thinking damn, that girl can play? You knew okay, this is varsity basketball now. Someone that stands out your freshman year?
I think it was probably against the West Mesa team just because they had a lot of shooters and they were so aggressive. I've never really been thrown around like that before. And I was like, okay, I need to really step it up because I was not used to I was used to knocking girls on the floor, and then when I went in there and was getting knocked around, I was like, oh my gosh, this is totally different. I'm not the strongest girl anymore.
Right.
So I had to really be careful about what I was doing.
And so how do you fix that? Is that just weight room and training, or just what else goes into that?
Just being a little bit smarter, probably.
Right.
If I see someone way bigger than me, I'm not going to go try and hit them or something. But I did work out in the weight room a lot, and I think it actually helped me a lot.
So at what point in that season did you guys realize, you guys had a pretty special group here?
Probably around district, we realized that we could do something good with our team.
So then you go into your sophomore year, and that was the Metro Championship year. So let's talk about the Metro Championship first. Is that a goal in the middle of the season? I know that's always a super fun tournament for us here at Proview Networks, getting to cover those games, but is that a mid-season goal that you guys had?
100%. We wanted those blue shirts so bad. We talked about it every day. And that was our first goal. And then as soon as we won, that was one goal that we met. And the next thing on our mind was district champions.
And how annoying does it get when you hear about West Mesa 3 years in a row, or you hear about now you hear Volkanovus is so good, or Hobbs is so good. So how do you use that to motivate?
Our team is definitely an underdog, and we just use it to fire us even more. We want to be talked about. We want to be the best team, and we want to go show everyone that we can compete with them and we can beat them.
Right. So how do you think you developed as a player yourself your sophomore year?
I think I learned a lot, and I just got more comfortable on the court. I gained a little bit more confidence because freshman year I was more nervous and timid. I didn't want to go and mess up. And this year I realized there was room for mistakes, and I just grew mentally, and physically I got a little bit better.
Right. So take us into the playoffs that year. So what seed were you guys? I mean, the expectations were pretty high.
Yeah.
But there were some good teams. Not like you guys were the only good team. So take us into the playoffs.
We were expecting a higher seed than we got. I think we ended up getting 4th, which still is good. But we had easy games, and then we faced Hobbs, and they were really good. They were really athletic. We had never played a team that was just as athletic as us, and they were bigger, faster, stronger. So we adjusted quickly. We had to work on boxing out, and we held in with them for a little while. Then towards the end, we just lost it a little bit.
How tough is it to play a team like Hobbs, especially on the pit floor that's so much bigger? That's a team that likes to run up and down.
Yeah.
I would imagine it'd be easier to play them at your place or even their place, but the pit, they have more room to run.
Yeah.
How tough is that?
It was hard because that was our first game with no fans. It was an empty arena. It was a little bit awkward, but our bench helped us, and we run the court too, so we were a little bit used to it, but they were just also quick and they could run with us. So the runouts that we were so used to getting easy layups, they were right there to block us, foul us, anything. So we realized that we have to be smarter with our passes, and we just had to be a little bit more patient with what we were doing.
So this season, you guys, obviously you lose your leading scorer in Kaya Ingram, so and that's a big piece. So is that something that gets talked about at the beginning of the year, like, okay, we got to replace this production? And does Coach kind of mention that, or how do you guys do that?
Yes, Coach definitely mentioned that we're losing one of our best players, which is true. She was the leading scorer, so now he said it's time for the other girls to step up. He mentions that we have 3 juniors, me, Riley, Tiona. Nina's injured, so she won't be playing with us. But he says it's time for us to show the other girls what we expect to lead, and he thinks we all should be scoring double digits each game. And we got a new freshman, and she's tall. She brings some size.
I've heard some buzz.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to see you guys play. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, the comparisons to West Mesa are so easy to make because it seems like those girls kind of started as freshmen, right? They took their licks early and got beat in the state tournament, and then they go on to have that success. Obviously, Coach Robert Perea is a good friend of Manny's. So are those comparisons fair? Do you think that the styles are close?
Yeah.
Do you guys kind of have those same goals? Like, okay, we took it a little bit as younger girls, and now we're ready to kind of do what they did and win.
Yeah, I think so. We probably had the same goals. We want to win. That's our every game. We just want to win. We'll do whatever it takes. We're gonna hustle. We're gonna play. He always says that defense wins games. So every practice we do a lot of defensive stuff. And I think that's where we're a little bit different from West Mesa because they're more of like a shooting team.
Right.
And we're not, I wouldn't really say we're like all about shooting threes and stuff. We're more, I think we're really good on defense, and we're more of a defensive team.
So now you move into your junior year, and that's usually when recruiting starts. So where would you like to see yourself playing basketball at the next level?
Honestly, I don't have any expectations right now. I'm just looking to see what happens. But I'm trying to get highlights out there, trying to do anything I can. With the whole COVID thing, it has made it a lot harder to get recruited. They're not recruiting as many people. People have another year of eligibility. So it's going to be a little bit harder, but I know some things will come eventually.
You've seen it in your own house now, obviously, with Javon and Tyrell. So do you at least feel comfortable with the process that's about to begin?
Yes, they're definitely going to help me a lot. They're already offered to come and start trying to do stuff with me. But I just need more film, and I need a little bit more time to get stuff done.
Well, we think the offers are going to come. Anytime you can say you're the best defender in the state, the offers are going to come.
Yeah.
So we look forward to being at your games this year. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching. Good night, everybody.